Have you ever caught yourself daydreaming about a different kind of life? Maybe one where mornings feel a little bit less rushed, where you know your neighbors, where you have enough space to actually enjoy being at home, and where at the end of the day, you can sit on the front porch with a cup of coffee or sweet tea or whatever it is that you like to have and just breathe. If you've ever had those thoughts, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Sharon Brown, and welcome to Atlanta's Back Porch. I'm a realtor here in North Georgia, and I started this channel because I started to notice something really interesting. People would call me because they want to buy a house. We'd start by talking about a budget, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, just like you would expect. But somewhere along the way, the conversation would always change. I was working with a client recently, it was actually a couple, and they were looking for a home still close to a small town, historic-y kind of area, but they really didn't want to be too far away from downtown Atlanta. You know, they wanted to do all of the things that were still there. So of course we started looking in that area. As we looked at different communities, something started to become really clear. Once we stopped focusing on the house and we started focusing on things like the kind of life that they wanted to wake up to every morning, the right community started to come into focus. We actually ended up looking in a different area that was somewhat different than their original expectation, just because it fit the lifestyle that they wanted so much better. And that conversation just really reminded me of something that I've seen over and over again. People think they're shopping for a house, but most of the time they're shopping for a different way of life. And that's why I created Atlanta's Back Porch. This channel isn't just about buying and selling real estate. It's about showing you what real life in North Georgia is really like so that you can decide whether or not this is the right place for you to be and for you to live. Is this the lifestyle that you're looking for? One of the biggest misconceptions about moving to the country and North Georgia is that it's boring. There's nothing to do here. That hasn't been my experience at all. Life slows down, but it's because it feels more intentional. Instead of spending evenings stuck in traffic, you spend them walking through historic downtown, grabbing a cup of coffee, or just enjoying your own backyard. It's not about doing less. It's about enjoying what matters more. This is probably my favorite thing about living here. Home for me is Taylorsville. I love the peaceful roads, the open space, and the slower pace of life. But one of the things I love the most is I don't feel disconnected from Atlanta. If my husband and I want to go to a Braves game or go to the museum or see a show at the Fox, it's just an easy day trip. For me, that's a perfect balance. One thing I hear from people over and over again is that they're looking for a place that feels connected. And that's something I really appreciate about North Georgia communities. You start recognizing people at your favorite coffee shop, or you run into a familiar face at an event or a festival. You get to know the people behind the businesses that you support. Those little moments add up. A town starts to really feel like home instead of just this place where you live. As a realtor, I've learned most people never finish the home buying process with the same priorities as when they started. At first, it's all about bedrooms and bathrooms and square footage. Then they start saying something like, look, I'd really love to be closer to a place where I can walk through the downtown area. Or I really love a porch. Or I just want enough yard for the grandkids. I miss seeing the stars at night. And then it's at that point that I noticed we stopped really talking about real estate and we're talking more about a whole lifestyle that ties into it. And I actually think that when it comes to buying a new home, that's the conversation that probably matters the most. I also want to be honest with you. North Georgia isn't perfect. Depending on where you live, you may have to drive a little bit further to go to the store. You may have fewer restaurant choices than the middle of downtown Atlanta. And if you're commuting to the city every day, traffic may still be part of your routine. But for a lot of people, those trade-offs are really worth it because at the end of the day, they come home to more peace, more space. They've got the community. They can see the stars at night. They've got the yard for the grandkids. They can sit on the front porch and enjoy sipping on sweet tea or something while they enjoy something that no one in the city really has. So is North Georgia right for you? Only you can answer that. But if you've been dreaming of a slower, quieter, more peaceful life with a stronger sense of community, without giving up everything that Atlanta has to offer, I think it's worth taking a closer look. And that's exactly what we're going to do here at Atlanta's Back Porch. We'll explore the town's neighborhoods, local businesses, hidden gems, and experiences that small town life has to offer. If this sounds like the kind of content you're looking for, I would love for you to subscribe and join me every week. And before you go, I would love to hear from you in the comments. When you picture your ideal hometown, what does it look like? Thanks so much for spending a little time with me today. I'll see you next time at Atlanta's Back Porch.